Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to talk about the January predictions for all zodiac signs. I've also made videos for the yearly 2024 predictions for each zodiac sign, so be sure to check those out too. In terms of the predictions, it's important to look at transits from the moon first, because all major events have an impact on our mind and emotions. Also, our thoughts, emotions and feelings can also influence external events that are promised in the natal chart. Things do not happen without it affecting the mind. So for example, if a person wants to go on holiday or study something, there will be something in their mind telling them to do that. When sudden events happen in a person's life, there could be feelings of joy or sadness, which can be seen from the moon, and the houses will tell us the type of event. All human beings have the capacity to feel emotions at some level. After looking at transits from the moon, you can then look at transits from the Ascendant to confirm any event, because houses, signs and planets have a diverse range of things they represent. So the key transits happening in January are: on the 31st of December, Jupiter will go direct. On the 8th of January, Mercury will transit into Sagittarius. On the 15th of January, Sun will transit into Capricorn. And on the 19th of January, Venus will transit into Sagittarius. So I will now go through the predictions for each sign. For Aries natives, this should be a good start to the year for you, with Jupiter now in direct motion in your first house. Any blocks, delays or confusion you may have experienced the past 3 months will start to ease, and your confidence and ambition will return to your personality. Opportunities and possibilities will also start to open up. And with the Lord of your chart, Mars, also in a strong position in the 9th house, this is a great time to start moving forward in your life, and a good time to commence anything new after the 8th of January when Mercury transits the 9th house. In the 9th house, Mercury will be conjunct with Sun and Mars, and this will bring strong mental alertness, increased personal interaction, creative rebirth, quick thinking and travel, and you will feel empowered to seize control, making this a wonderful period for business, education and sitting exams. Venus, the Lord of your 2nd and 7th house, will also transit into the 9th house from January 15th. So this month there are a lot of planetary energies influencing your 9th house, which will broaden your view of life, expand your awareness of the world around you, bring confidence and overall luck and opportunity to build prosperity in your life. So if you look at your natal chart, the stronger your 9th house and Jupiter, the greater results you can achieve. Your dasha will also be important. So for example, if you are in your 20s and 30s and you are going through Saturn dasha, there may not be as many opportunities to expand your life because Saturn is a restrictive planet. So although the month of January is good, Aries people will all experience a different level of the result. If you are single, Venus in the 9th house means that you can come across a person through traveling, education, and meeting a person of a different background is also possible if this is supported by your natal chart. The month of January can be high in expenses. Jupiter is in the 1st house and Rahu is in the 12th house, which means that you are looking to expand your life, do something new, study something new, invest in your career or business, spend money to travel to new places or even heal yourself. If you are following transits from the moon, Jupiter will transit over your natal moon, which is generally good, but you can feel a little bit overwhelmed. You may have so many things going on in your mind, so this can cause headaches and migraines. Jupiter in the 1st house means that you need to watch your diet, because it can make a person gain weight. So this is a time your cholesterol can go up, and Jupiter in Ashwini Nakshatra can cause stomach ailments. For Taurus natives, in the first half of the month, the Lord of your chart, Venus, will be transiting the 7th house, which means that there will be some focus on other people, which includes personal relationships and partnerships, and also travel. Venus will be in Scorpio, which can be a tough placement for a soft and harmonious planet like Venus. Mars will be in your 8th house and Saturn in the 10th house, which means that the month of January can be a struggle for one-to-one relationships. This is a time where small and subtle issues can become more obvious, and there can be power struggles around shared financial resources and in-laws. But if you can get through any issues, Venus's transit here can also lead to a stronger bond and bring two people closer together. Jupiter is now direct in your 12th house, which means that a person can be more generous in giving love. The 12th house is letting go and giving, and it can mean giving more warmth and affection to your partner or spouse. If you are not in a relationship, since Scorpio is a very investigative and searching sign, during the month of January you can also reflect on your past relationships, your exes, and you may check up on them to see what they are up to. After the 17th of January, Venus will move into your 8th house, which is ruled by the sign of Sagittarius and will be conjunct with Mercury and Mars. So the month of January can also be an introspective month where you'll be self-evaluating and will be insatiably curious. This month there can be opportunities to transform yourself, either psychologically or physically, which involves venturing out of your comfort zone, having deep and intense conversations, and uncovering any truths. Transformations can bring a person out of their comfort zone, but they can be very positive. This combination can bring changes to your location. The 4th Lord Sun will be in your 9th house, so there are chances to move to a different location. There are chances to study something new or increase your self-awareness and look towards the future, which can be a transformational experience. Saturn in your 10th house and Rahu in your 11th house means that the year is generally good for career and business. Sun will move into your 9th house after mid-January, which is a good placement. This will help you take on responsibilities and you will look towards the future in a very structured and planned way. You can display your generosity at work by being a leader who will share their time if you are in that position, being generous with knowledge and information, and overall being supportive. For Gemini natives, Mercury is the lord of your chart and will transit the 6th house for the first week of the month before moving into your 7th house on the 6th of January. So during the first week, you can be rather busy trying to organize everything in your day-to-day life to stay on top of things. Mercury in the sign of Scorpio in the 6th house is very good for completing your day-to-day tasks because Scorpio is a very determined sign. So any administration work that you need to complete to keep your household and your life ticking along is a good time to get it completed the first week of Jan. In terms of work, this is a good time to fill out job applications if you want to change your role, and a time to complete any pending work-related jobs and tasks that you didn't do before the holidays. However, during this time, there can be deep and intense conversations with your co-workers, and with Mars in the 7th house, you have to take some care with your workplace relationships. If your Mercury is weak in your natal chart, or if you are at a senior age, and if you are going through malefic dasha period, this month there can be some nervous system disorders, so you may feel some numbness, pain or weakness in your limbs, so you may have to seek the appropriate treatment. For personal relationships, Mars and Sun are both rich in energy, so the conjunction in the 7th house can cause challenges and disagreements with your partner during the first half of the month. They are also both malefic planets for Gemini natives, so you may feel a little bit hurt in your relationship this month. When Mercury transits into your 7th house, the period after 20th of January is a better time for those who are single, since there are strong chances to connect and meet new people, and a good time for dating. And with the 5th Lord Venus conjunct with Mercury towards the end of the month, it means that there can be romance and fun times. Jupiter will be transiting direct in your 11th house now, which is positive for materialistic gains, achieving professional goals, changing jobs and boosting your income. Jupiter here also means that now you'll be more optimistic about the future and you will start to think about goals for the rest of the year. For Cancer natives, Mars is the Yogic planet in your chart because it rules the 5th house and 10th house, and it will be positioned in the 6th house in the sign of Sagittarius. Now, although Mars is in a good sign and a good house, because it is ruling the 5th house, it is not generally considered good when the 5th house lord is in the 6th house, and therefore can indicate some struggles in relation to the 5th house, especially while Mars is in Mula Nakshatra the first few weeks of the month. The month shows that your relationship with your children can be a struggle, and you may have to work very hard with them. If you have adult children, there can be disputes and arguments with them. If you are due to have children, there can be a little bit of trouble depending on your natal chart, while Mars is in Mula Nakshatra. Jupiter is also not in an ideal position as far as children are concerned, and you may have to take on extra responsibilities and devote a lot more time to them. So while for children Mars in the 6th house isn't ideal, January should be a positive month for career. 10th Lord Mars in the 6th house in the fiery sign of Sagittarius means that you will be very determined and you can overcome obstacles at work. You'll either be mentally busy or you will have a strong urge to get up and do things. This could be applying for jobs, finishing off work tasks, and completing life admin chores. Jupiter will transit in direct motion now in the 10th house, which means that your career prospects will improve and your self-confidence will be high to fulfill your work responsibilities. Jupiter in direct motion means you are well on your way to grow professionally in the direction that is right for you. From the 7th of January, Mercury will move into your 6th house and will be followed by Venus shortly after. So there will be 3 planets in your 6th house, which means that this house is demanding some attention. This is a house of service, so this can be a month which can be very busy for you in your personal or working life. This can also be a time you need to take responsibility over any health related matters, and a time you may have to look after your spouse's health too. Ketu is in the 3rd house, which is a house of processing information and making decisions. So we should always look at the position of Mercury every month, because Mercury is a planet which affects our everyday life, just like the moon. Mercury is how we think, process information and communicate. Mercury will be transiting your 6th house with Venus and Mars, which will make you busy, but here it is effective and you'll be able to find practical solutions to any problems you may be having. For Leo natives, the start of the year should be good for you. The lord of your chart's sun will be positioned in the 5th house in conjunction with friendly planet Mars with the aspect of Jupiter. So having all the fiery planets influencing the 5th house means that you will feel a surge of confidence this month. There can be an increase of self-expression and creativity, and an excellent time to follow your passion and pursue activities that bring you joy. This month you can increase your knowledge and feel a tremendous amount of motivation to do well in your studies and exams, making this a great month for students and teachers. Sun and Mars in the 5th house along with Mercury can show a sense of entrepreneurial fearlessness. So this month you may take risks and make important decisions related to your business and home. This is a good month for business, and with Jupiter in the 9th house, you will be ambitious and push forward to try and succeed, and you will get good results. Mars and Sun in the 5th house means that you can pursue recreation, fun and pleasure. So this is a month you can be engaged in sport and hobbies with a competitive mindset. So if you enter into tournaments or you enter into activities, you can personally have a dominant influence and receive praise and recognition. For service-related work, Saturn is in a strong position, and your 10th house Lord Venus will be in the 4th house up until 18th of January, which means that you will be trying to foster harmonious and balanced workplace relationships, or you'll be trying to integrate a better work-life balance. After 19th of January, Venus will move into your 5th house, which will bring a powerful transformational experience in your career. This can signify minor or major changes in your career, or it can show psychological changes where your thoughts, emotions and behavior can change regarding your career. Sun will also move into your 6th house, so this is a time to get back into your routine and you will feel an intense drive for achievement. For romance, the 11th house lord Mercury is in the 5th house, so it can be a time you can have an intense and passionate connection with someone from your network circle or social group. Sun and Mars in the 5th house can create an intense and passionate connection. But remember, this transit is only for 1 month, so it could be short-lived. For those that are married, Saturn in the 7th house is about bringing practicality into the relationship, which means that you have to make decisions and choices in your married life based on logic rather than emotions and feelings. For Virgo natives, the lord of your chart Mercury will be transiting the 3rd house the first week of January before moving into your 4th house on the 8th of January. Now Mercury is actually one of the most important planets in astrology because it governs our intellect and thinking ability, which we use to make decisions. Mercury represents communication, which happens every day in order to convey and transmit messages. So that's why the position of Mercury is extremely important for the day-to-day life of human beings. So when Mercury is in the 3rd house, it is comfortable, and it can be an active period where your mental process is accelerated, which can be very useful for those who are especially studying. In the sign of Scorpio, which represents depth, you can really learn a topic or module quite thoroughly. Jupiter is also direct in the 8th house, so a very good start to the month to gather information in detail. However, in terms of communication, Scorpio is a fixed and intense sign, which means that you can have deep, intense and frank conversations with either your family, partner, work colleagues or someone close to you. Scorpio is a water sign, and water can be as deep as an ocean. Scorpio is also a very probing sign, so you might have lots of questions on your mind and you can be digging deep under the surface to get to the root of any issue. Because Ketu is in your 1st house the whole year, you can be spending time searching for deeper truth through research and educational pursuits, and you'll be reflecting on things from the past. Things from the past can also come back to you, or you can go back to things from the past during this year. When Mercury moves into the 4th house in Sagittarius, it is not really a great placement because your mind can be clouded by emotions, and in conjunction with Mars and Venus, it can be an emotive month for you, where you can feel a bit restless and your thinking can be undisciplined, meandering and possibly confused. So if you do feel like this, the remedy is to get back to simple living, doing the basics such as exercise, eating healthy and practicing mindfulness. The month can also show a strong focus on your home life and conveniences, possibly changing residence and purchasing or selling vehicles. If you are following transits from the moon, when Ketu transits over the natal moon, it gives strong chances of relocation. For career, Saturn in the 6th house can cause some frustrations, though it will give you a job if you are not working, but this month can show slightly difficult relationships with work colleagues and bosses. For Libra natives, Venus, the lord of your chart, will be transiting your 2nd house for the first few weeks of the month, along with Mercury, before moving into your 3rd house. So first of all, Venus and Mercury in the 2nd house in Scorpio means that you will be focusing on your financial and material security and family responsibilities, having honest conversations and making decisions around these things. Saturn is also aspecting your 2nd house, which means that there will be some financial or family focus this month. Venus in the 2nd house is good, And when it is placed in Scorpio, it means that money from the past or sudden money can come to you. So for example, you can withdraw money from investments or sell your stocks and shares and turn it back into cash. Venus in Scorpio means that you will spend some time reflecting on the past, especially relationships. So this can also be a bit of a transformational experience. Here any truth can come out. So any secrets you have or your family has or any secrets related to relationships can become more obvious. Scorpio is a very honest sign and is about digging deep to find the truth. So you can discover something meaningful, or you will have some deep and frank conversations. Your third house will be conjunct with Mars, Sun and Mercury, which are all comfortable in the third house, which means that you'll be highly attuned to your environment and you will have excellent communication skills and will be able to think and express yourself clearly and effectively, making this month very good for learning, retaining knowledge, sitting exams and business. The last 2 weeks, Venus will transit into your third house and will be conjunct Mars and Mercury in Sagittarius. So this could be a busy but optimistic period for you. This is a time you can start a new business, travel, or take up new hobbies. During this time, you can also have a harmonious relationship with your younger sibling and those in your immediate environment. Sun will be in your fourth house, which means that you will want to have a bigger influence in your home. You may want to be like the head of the house, and when the sun is shining its light on the fourth house, you may spend more time with your family. Jupiter will also be transiting direct in the 7th house, which means that things can now start to move forward in terms of work, personal relationships and health. Any obstacles or setbacks will disappear. The 3rd and 7th houses are Karma Trikona houses and will be filled with planetary energies, making it a very good month for the fulfillment of some of your desires. For Scorpio natives, Mars is the lord of your chart and it will transit your 2nd house in the sign of Sagittarius in conjunction with the Sun. So this means in January you will have a lot of energy at your disposal, which will help you make money and you'll be working harder to have more security in your life. Jupiter will also be in direct motion in the 6th house, so you can start to move forward and any pending career or work matters can be resolved. This is a time you can hear back from any job applications you may have applied for in the past. And this is a month you could change jobs too. Jupiter aspecting the 2nd house and Saturn in the 4th house means that your income can be strong, and along with Sun and Mars conjunction in the 2nd house, it means that this month is very good to make money, but not a very good month to preserve it. Sun is a very extravagant energy and likes good taste, comforts, guilty pleasures and high class things. So you will be spending a lot too. If you notice on the days where the sun is out or during the summer or spring season, people generally spend more money. So Sun is really good for earning and spending, but not good for saving. The 12th Lord Venus is also in the 1st house, which again shows spending on pleasure and leisure. While financially Mars in the 2nd house is good, in terms of family the results are not as good because of the fiery nature of the planet. Here Mars can cause quarrels and disagreements with spouse, family, father, or anybody in an authority figure like bosses or even government. For personal relationships, Venus in the 1st house in Scorpio means that love can also take center stage the first half of the month. If you are single, it is possible to come across someone and you can have a soul to body connection rather than a flirtatious superficial connection. Venus in Scorpio can also show power struggles where you or your partner are trying to dominate and control. For Sagittarius natives, Jupiter is the lord of your chart and it will now transit in direct motion from the month of January, which means that the next 4 months is all steam ahead. Mars and Sun will also transit your 1st house with the aspect of Jupiter, which means that there is a powerful focus on yourself. When Sun transits the first house, it means that you'll be able to see yourself very clearly, indicating intense self-awareness of who you are. And you'll have a strong desire for personal growth, and basically do what you want to do and not what others tell you. You'll be confident and fearless in striving for your goals, which makes this a great time to travel, study, sit interviews, change jobs, and broaden your horizons. Anything you didn't have confidence to do in the past 6 months, you can do it now. In terms of personal life, Venus, the planet of love, and Mercury, the lord of your 7th house, will transit the 12th house at the start of the month, which means that there will be a powerful transformation in your personal life. So firstly, if you are in a relationship with a person, here they can actually move away to a far place, or there could be a breakup. Secondly, when Venus is in the 12th house, it is the natural exaltation spot. But in the sign of Scorpio, this can show that a person also needs power as well as intimacy. So there could be important relationship conversations and decisions you need to make in the first 2 weeks of January. If you are single, Jupiter is now in direct motion in your 5th house, which means that you can now date and come across a person. Mercury and Venus will also move into your 1st house, so there are strong chances a person can come to you if this is supported by your natal chart. Jupiter will be in Ashwini Nakshatra, and Ketu is in your 10th house, which means that you may also be quick to get in and out of a relationship too. For business, Saturn direct in the 3rd house and Jupiter direct in the 5th house is excellent, and Sun moving into your 2nd house also shows good profits and gains. This is a good time to even start a business if that is something you have been thinking about. For employment or service, your career will be at the forefront of your mind with both Venus and Mercury in your 1st house. So there are chances of a new beginning in a job. But with Ketu in your 10th house, it means that dissatisfaction may creep in as the year progresses, or you may have to deal with unexpected changes. For Capricorn natives, Saturn is the lord of your chart and will be transiting the 2nd house in 2024. So as I mentioned in the 2024 Capricorn video, the focus for the year will be around money, home and personal life. So for the month of January, the 2 planets which are very important for monthly predictions are the Sun and Mercury. Mercury is a very important planet because it governs communication, taking in information and making decisions, something which we all do on a daily basis. So at the start of the month, Mercury will be transiting your 11th house in the sign of Scorpio and will also be conjunct with Venus. Mercury and Venus are 2 of the best planets for Capricorn natives because they rule the trinal houses, making the first week excellent for profits and gains from employment, stocks, business and father. Mercury and Venus in the 11th house also shows that you will be making important decisions around your finances, your hopes and desires, and also relationships. With Mercury and Venus in your 11th house, this can show that you can be involved with societal groups or causes, displaying a kind, helpful and generous nature. Whenever there are many planets in the 11th and 12th houses, it's generally a time where a person shows more care for the society. So for example, those that are in business, this is a time you can create job opportunities for the community, or your business can promote or support a cause or give to a charity. Sun is ruling your 8th house and will transit the 12th house for the first couple of weeks of January. And this can also show a healing or recovery period if you are suffering from any ailments. After 8th of January, Mercury will move into your 12th house for the remainder of the month and will be joined with Mars and Venus shortly after. So this can be a period of introspection and self-reflection. When there are 3 or more planets in the 12th house, you can be thinking a lot about the past, and memories can feel more vivid. For some of you, this period will also help you overcome any work-related problems and health issues too, because Mercury is ruling your 6th house. Jupiter will also transit in direct motion in your 4th house, which will help you improve your sense of inner peace. Your confidence levels can also improve, and Jupiter will now help you transform your home situation for the better. So there are chances you could move home, buy a property, clear up any family problems, and overall find some inner stability. For Aquarius natives, you are going through the peak period of Saraswati, and with Saturn the lord of your chart in the 1st house, you may be experiencing challenges in any new situations or beginnings that are happening in your life. The good news is that Jupiter will be transiting in direct motion now in your 3rd house, which means that you will be more forward looking, and this will help you plan and make decisions about the future. You will also have regained your energy and will be filled with renewed optimism. But because Jupiter is in the sign of Aries, you have to be careful not to scatter your energies in different directions. You have to have a couple of goals in mind and try to complete them before moving on to something else. For career, Mars is ruling your 10th house and is very well placed in your 11th house this month. So this should be an excellent month for your career, where you can also feel a little bit of an achievement and satisfaction. Perhaps you might have hit a milestone, or you might be getting some recognition. Mars also rules your 3rd house, which represents self-efforts and therefore business. So this is a very good month for marketing, where your business can reach a wider community and therefore lead to more profits. After the first week of January, Mercury and Venus will join Mars in the 11th house. So this combination will enhance your social skills, where you'll be able to build your friendship circle. The other planetary energy which we have to examine for monthly predictions is the Sun, which is ruling your 7th house. The 12th house is not really a place where the Sun can be the most effective. Firstly, the Sun represents your vitality. It represents your heart, your body, and when it is transiting the 12th house, it can show poor health, and therefore where treatment and healing is required. Saturn in the 1st house is also not a good position as far as health is concerned, so it's important to look after your well-being. The Sun is an energy that gives light to all the planets in the solar system, and therefore this translates to a very generous nature. So the second half of the month there can be high expenditure. For personal relationships, Saturn is aspecting your 7th house. So it is a year where the passion and feeling of love can take a back seat, and instead your relationship may be filled with responsibilities now. There can be difficulties in fulfilling your relationship or marriage obligations. So Sun transiting the 7th house can be a challenge to cope with your spouse, and this month your spouse can be suffering from ill health too. For Pisces natives, Jupiter is the lord of your chart and will be transiting in direct motion in your 2nd house at the start of January, which is positive because it can commonly indicate growth and expansion in your finances, which everybody will be happy to hear. However, it does not only mean that it will give you more money. Jupiter's transit in the 2nd house can also mean that you can feel more confident in handling your money, because Jupiter is also a planet of confidence. So during this month, you can face your finances and you'll be establishing your financial values. You'll be focusing on financial prioritization. What do you value? What do you want to spend money on? Because Jupiter's transit in the 2nd house is really about growth in what you value. This means that some of you will be deciding on what you want to do with your money. Mercury will be conjunct with Venus and Mars from the 8th of January. So you'll be making important financial and career decisions. Saturn will be in your 12th house for the whole year, and with Rahu in the 1st house, you have to guard against wasteful expenditure, which I mentioned in the 2024 Pisces video. Mercury, Venus and Mars will all be conjunct in your 10th house, which is a relatively comfortable house for all the planets, especially Mars. So you will be driven and extremely focused in work-related matters. This is a month you can change jobs and make important career decisions. This is a month you can travel to another location for work. Because Saturn is in the 12th house, it means that every time there is a strong energy in the Eartha Trigona houses, which are the 2nd, 6th and 10th, there can be subtle or major changes in your job. Saturn's transit in the 12th house can either show changing jobs frequently or changes to a person's role. So for example, responsibilities can come and go. So while there is a lot of energy in your 10th house, your 4th house is empty. So you have to find time to look after your overall well-being and not to overexert yourself. Rahu in the 1st house means that you are on a quest of self-discovery, which means that you will be spending a lot of effort, energy and time. So this year can cause feet, sleep and emotional stress issues. You also have to watch out for your diet, because what you put in your mouth is very important to the overall health of your body. For relationships, with Ketu in the 7th house, you may not be too interested in forming relationships, but depending on your natal chart, there is always a possibility to connect with someone. In January, your 7th Lord Mercury is in the 10th house, so there are chances to form relationships through work. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below, or you can email me at exaltedmercury8@gmail.com, and I will see you next time. Thank you.